not about the clothes, not about the lifestyle.
How to get rid of the
yeah. Well, no. Ex-drummer. No, the thing is these two films, they really go hand in hand in terms of what they're talking about and just how willing they are to just off the members of their films.
We believe in nothing, Lebowski.
Yes. Nihilists.
Okay, well, one of the films I want to talk about that nobody has been talking about, because I guess it only played the once, was Just Another Love Story, which blew me away.
Did it only play once? No, it played twice.
Did it? Okay, well, it's another Danish film, and it's a film noir, and maybe that's why some people didn't, make that big a deal out of seeing it or something, because it's not a genre film in any way except that it's a film noir.
It was played early afternoon both times.
Okay, it was amazing.
It was really good.
One of those. It was second only to The Good, the Bad, and the Weird for me. I really was blown away with it. I was like thinking, wow, I'm shocked that people aren't talking about this the way they did after they came out of Memento, quite frankly.
I didn't hear much about this one. It didn't have any buzz at the festival.
Carlyle is the first person I've talked to who saw it other than me. I kept asking people like, no, I didn't see it.
It's a good film. It didn't blow me away. You're the one person that I know that walked out of it going, wow, that was incredible. Everybody else was like, yeah, that was good. And then we moved on to the next film. That guy had directed another film that played at the festival, and I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. It's not in the guide for some reason. I don't know why.
But he directed two of the films there at the fest that were very different. No, this it's a good film noir, and it was a really interesting story, but it was really also hard for a lot of people to watch because it really is a weird story about a guy who has a good family life. He's got 2 kids and a wife and a job he likes, and everything's going good. And then he gets into a car accident with a girl who loses her memory, and he falls in love with her and gets caught up in her sordid life.
Interesting.
And then just kind of throws off his life to take over the life of this dead guy that he's pretending to be.
Yeah, except there's more to it going on than that.
Right.
This isn't While You Were Sleeping. This is.
I was about to say, it sounds
But somebody actually described it as While You Were Sleeping.
Oh, I know they did.
But better. If While You Were Sleeping didn't suck, this would be While You Were Sleeping.
While You Were Sleeping turned into a deeply disturbing, fucked up film noir movie with the type of end that when you get to the end, you forget that it's circular and you've already seen how it ended. And when it happens, when you come to that realization that, it's all going to be all right. I mean, sure, things are fucked up, but at least that, oh, crap, I forgot all about that.
That's
you
kind of
just sit
fascinating.
there in shock at the end going, oh, my God. I loved this film. I love film noir, one of my favorite genres, and honestly, this is one of the few really great entries into the genre I've seen in some time.
I have a nice segue.
Yeah, go for it.
While You Were Sleeping,
Yeah.
Bill Pullman, Surveillance.
Now, really, this is one of your big films of the festival.
I dug it.
Wow, okay. Well, let's
really
hear from
liked
you
it.
first. Let's hear from you guys first.
It is, in effect, kind of like Rashomon in that you've got a bunch of different perspectives of essentially the same series of events. And some of the plot points are almost ludicrous, really. But the way it's told, the way it's executed by Jennifer Lynch,
Boxing
Helena, right?
David Lynch's daughter.
The way it's executed is really masterful, and you're watching everything being built up, and you're wondering what happened in these gaps that I wasn't shown, and it really starts eating at you. And when it all is unveiled for you, parts of it are kind of disappointing. Parts of it are kind of silly, but overall, it was just really artful filmmaking, and it was creepy. It was about a bunch of people who were relating encountering a serial killer on a lonely stretch of highway, and they're all being interviewed by the police and the FBI. So yeah, fascinating.
The thing that's good about this movie is Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman is incredible in this film. There's a sequence where he is just so fucking good that you're just like,
don't spoil it.
No, I'm not spoiling. See, don't even say that I could be possibly.
You just
spoiling
spoiled
something.
it by saying don't spoil
it.
No, there is a sequence where he is just so goddamn good, and you're just like, wow, this is why I love Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman's amazing.
He's awesome. But unfortunately, I was disappointed. I was disappointed in myself simply because I figured the film out way too early.
Me too.
There was one small moment, like within the first 5 minutes, that I noticed something peculiar, and I said, "Oh, this is this, and that means this, and that." Yeah. Oh, that's what. And I watched the whole movie from that perspective. And so when the big twist came, it was kind of like, Yeah, that was exactly
There are
what
a
I thought
couple
it
of
was.
frames in there that really betray it all. But plus, I have to say that the guy introducing the film certainly didn't help
Yeah, well,
things.
he gave it away when we saw
Captain
yeah.
Excitable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Captain
we all saw it.
You
That's right.
are about to see the greatest movie you've ever seen in your life.
But,
That-
you know, even then, I was going, okay, and I was thinking about the whole thing. I was like, you know what? I still would have figured it out 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
There's no way I wouldn't have figured it all out. And that's
Well,
a shame
there's that
because-
one shot.
No, but
you
see,
know?
surveillance depends, as a quality of film, to me, on you not figuring it out.
Yes.
On it being a surprise, and that's where it fails, is because it's way too obvious. It's the conservation law in film. It's like you have only a certain number of characters, and if you're setting up a mystery about who done it, and you're immediately, once you realize it's got to be somebody here, and they've automatically ruled everybody else out, then it's got to be
Okay,
those
see, now
last
we're
people.
getting a little too far into talking about the film.
Well, I'm just
Point
saying
is,
that's the problem. It's Jennifer Lynch. All right, if you took out the Angelo Badalamenti score and you took out the flights of fancy into absolute insano weirdness, it feels too much like her father's style of directing. Honestly, at points I was like watching it was like, wow, she directs just like David does.
Only
Wow,
the movie makes sense.
yeah,
no,
it makes
no,
a lot,
I'm
and,
saying
and it has a plot and
different-
writing.
different structure as far as like the content.
doesn't.
But the way it looks, it felt just like her father.
Well, cinematography wise,
Yeah.
but in terms, there were no midgets walked out with blue
No, but that's
flowers going,
content.
rain to me, rain to me.
Once again, that's content.
Yes.
But I think it would have been a much better film with midgets walking out doing that.
I thought it was. I thought it was
You
a
and
good,
your midgets.
I thought it was a good. Yeah,
I
don't
like
wanna go-
midgets. What do you want?
You do like cornhole.
Wasn't enough to say Feast 2, but still.
So let's move on to Feast 2.
Yeah, let's talk about Feast 2.
I love Feast 2.
No, loved. That's a strong word.
I did, but the thing is I love Feast 2 because Feast 2, the thing about the Feast series is they are postmodern horror films. They are not so much horror movies of themselves as much as they are full frontal assaults on how horror films are constructed. The first film totally just took you out of the movie right away and started giving you the statistics of how long somebody had to live. And then they broke every major convention of that. The strong-jawed hero comes in and goes, you better listen to me, you better follow me, or you're all going to die.
Spoiler.
And that, no, I'm talking about the first feast.
I know.
And then a monster comes through the window in the first 3 minutes and eats him, and that shows you that nothing is sacred. This film does the exact same thing in terms of breaking the conventions, only they sit down and they take every single convention that you're not supposed to do in a horror film, all the basic rules, and they break every single one of them.
Yeah.
And they literally, all the stuff that they say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you do that, you're going to lose the audience. And they strive to break every single rule, and it's a comedy.
It's that striving that bugged me about it.
They were trying too hard.
You can do it, but it was just too obviously self-conscious about it. I'm going, okay, yes, you killed a baby. You did these things. And I went, wow, it's so much on their sleeve, the fact that they want to do that, that it was just kind of annoying watching them do it. But that wasn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the first feast works partially because it's all set at night. It's really dark. The style of filming is all just sort of jittery. You can barely see the monsters. They're there, then they're not. And when they are filmed, it's in this sort of like, feels like frames are missing sort of style. They're convincing, even though there's a low budget, because of the way they chose to film them. This one, they're filming most of the action scenes in broad goddamn Texas-style daylight. Bright. And they look like a bunch of dudes wearing cheap rubber suits.
Well, the effects in this film are not great.
They suck giant hairy nuts.
I don't know what the running time of the film was, but regardless, it was about half an hour too long.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but I thought that they just ran a bunch of gags absolutely into the ground. And I know that was kind of their intent, but I don't think it worked. There were a lot of gags that just kept going on and on, like the bodily fluids dissection scene.
Yeah.
It was like enough already.
Watching a dead feast beast come all extensively all over a bunch of lesbian topless bikers was, while that sounds hot to a certain extent, trust me, it's not.
Well, the thing is, what was disturbing about that scene was not the act of it doing. It was that 3 scenes later, they've still got dry jizz on their face.
You would
that
think
they
you
kept
would have
that joke
actually
going.
at
It
least
was
gotten
just-
that big dollop off your chin.
That was
and
so-
gone,
that was-
tastes like mayonnaise.
It was so over the top,
It-
and that was so much fun, though.
That's the thing, is that the movie is over the top, raw, crazy energy. And I thought it was a great time. My only big gripe is that if you're trying to maintain that energy for as long as they did, you're going to fail. You got to make it a little bit shorter. Otherwise, it just wears people out. And it's like, if everything's crazy, nothing's crazy, and you're just making people tired.
I'll tell you one upside, though, is I was sitting next to one of the hot actresses
Yes,
in
you
the
were.
film, who was totally cool. She was all like, oh, what'd you think about that? Like, the whole time talking to me. I was like, how do I tell her? I was like, well, you were good.
And Cyrus was trying to work his magic, and then he realized he's got no mojo.
There's no magic.
There is no
It
magic.
was painful to watch.
Yeah.
I was cringing.
So speaking of bloody, over the top fun, did either of you see Repo, the Genetic Opera?
Okay, you were
No.
100% right. When I walked into this festival, Carlyle said, you have to see Repo, the Genetic Opera. And I went, honestly, I'm a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. One of the main stars of this film is Anthony Stewart Head, who is singing through the whole film. Do you not think I'm going to see this?
Cyrus would carry his child.
Yes.
Giles.
What
I'll
did
carry
you?
your baby,
we never
Giles.
talked about it. What did you think?
I adored it. Honestly, I really did. I said, wow, this is what I was hoping Sweeney Todd was going to be, and totally failed at. This is a really, really fun horror film. One of maybe 4 films I can think of that set out to be a cult film and succeeds admirably at it. I had fun through every single minute of this entire thing. It's, I don't even know how to describe it except to say it is an opera. It's not a rock musical. It's a rock opera. They never fucking stop singing.
No,
in
it's
this movie.
it's a rock opera that is kind of a cross between. I like to describe it, if Joss Whedon tried to remake the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that would be Repo the Genetic Opera.
even-
You just made Cyrus's nipples hard, I think.
Yes, I did.
But I wouldn't even necessarily say that because I kept thinking about that. I was like, you know what? I'm not seeing but so much Whedon influence in there. It's there a little.
No, but that's the only way to describe it. I mean, it's. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying at all that the director, whose name I'm blanking on right now, ripped off Joss Whedon.
No.
I mean, he borrows shots from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That much is certain.
And when he does, it feels like a tribute more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because they're very
No, it
occasional.
doesn't feel like a ripoff. The people that are like, oh, this is just a ripoff of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's like, you didn't get this at all. Now, personally, I didn't like this film. I did not enjoy
Nothing you guys are saying make me want to see this.
it. Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
It was
But
Darren Bausman, the director of the
One of the Saw
movies. 2, 3, and
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. Which
not
I
just
didn't
one.
actually like, but
No, but no, I think he. I think the thing about this film is it's one of those. I refer to it as one of those films you have to see, if only so that you have as a movie lover, a frame of reference.
Yeah.
Because it really is unlike anything else you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It really is its own beast, and you cannot define it except by pulling some of its influences together and saying, well, it's kind of like that. It's not actually Joss Whedon's Rocky Horror Picture Show, but that's the closest you can come, because this really is its own bizarre little weirdness.
And this is the very definition of a love it or hate it film, and people are so polarized. They're either totally in love with this, or they are like, I have no idea why anybody would like this piece of crap. And I've talked to both types of people, and that's fine. Even as somebody who totally loved it, I can completely see why someone wouldn't be able to stand this. But when I see a scene like Anthony Stewart Head singing a really good pop song while he's eviscerating a living subject, and then finishing out the song with a chorus sung by him and the guy because he reaches inside his corpse and moves his mouth with his hand from the inside, singing his part as well, I go, you know what? That's a movie I want to own.
Wow.
I would agree with you, except for the part where you said really good pop song. The music
You didn't like the music. is
No,
part
no,
of the
I
problem.
didn't, because it really did. It really was done in that Joss Whedon style, to where it intentionally doesn't rhyme. It's not trying to maintain a certain scheme. It's got its own thing that it's doing, and it works in that sense. But it's not exactly. It's very hard to describe. It wasn't like actual songs as much as it was music with words put over it.
I can't agree with you, Joss Whedon style. If you're talking about Dr. Horrible, that was actually written by Zach Whedon, the songs, and not Joss.
Okay, well that's
But
that was one of the elements that it felt like of Joss Whedon, but also referring to the other things that Joss Whedon did musically.
But
Like
it's because his Buffy episode.
But let's not.
wasn't
We're not
But
arguing.
yeah, that's neither
The
here
point
nor
is Rico, the genetic fucking opera, and
Yeah.
you know what? It's worth checking out. If it sounds like it's your thing, it is so going to be your thing. Like I was saying, this director, this movie's going to put his kids through college. They're going to sell this stuff at Hot Topic forever.
Yeah, I saw when I was there. I mean, come on, it hasn't even opened here yet. It had 3 screenings in Austin, all 3 at Fantastic Fest. I saw the third one, and there
All
was
3
about
sold out.
25 people in the audience who were people who bought tickets from the outside. Nothing to do with Fantastic
Really?
Fest. Came there specifically for it. Already knew the words to all the songs because
Yep.
they were fucking singing along, and were handing out like props to people like at the Rocky Horror. People really into
First
it.
of all, these were people who do Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
I knew a couple of them.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people.
They went to all 3
floating
shows.
around there.
Right. Well, I mean, I can't imagine. All right, I've seen Rocky Horror 101 times exactly. Okay, I don't ever need to see that fucking movie again. I had no problem with it. It's not a great movie, but it is what it is. It's an experience. I don't need 101 times, more than enough for even my favorite movie to see. Those people are probably a little sick of the goddamn Rocky Horror Picture Show at this point. Now, what the hell is that? You are gesticulating.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
over.
we're talking. He's like 101 times, and I'm like, I've seen it over 500 times, and he's like, I've seen it once.
I've seen it once. Yeah, I watched it. It was like on cable when I
Oh,
was a
see,
kid,
then you
and I was
didn't-
like, "What the
Then you
fuck
haven't
is this?"
seen it.
Yeah, you haven't seen it.
You
I don't want rice thrown at me. I don't want somebody to write "virgin" on my forehead
dude,
or
you
whatever.
have no idea. You know what? I'm so taking. There's one that plays right up the road,
See,
like
you've
literally
done it
a
now.
mile from
What
here.
the hell
Shit,
were you
yeah, I
thinking?
know.
You have
should've
no
lied.
idea what the Rocky Horror Picture Show is.
I don't dig on musicals unless it's an
Virgin.
Elvis musical.
I just need to take a break real quick.
So yeah, how about the Burrowers, man? How awesome was that?
That was one of the rare successes of melding Western with horror. 2 great tastes that taste great together. The only other one that I can think of that was successful is Ravenous, and that's
not really a Western.
Right,
either.
right.
Well, it takes place at that time. There
It
are
takes
Western
place in
elements, but
frontier. It's
not
a
Western.
frontier horror,
Yeah.
which is
It's
different.
a bottle film
So you can argue that The Burrowers is the first successful horror Western,
that I can think of.
besides Billy the Kid Meets Dracula.
That
Well,
being said-
somebody argued that Pale Rider is technically a
Pale
horror
Rider
film.
and High Plains Drifter both.
High
kinda-
Plains
yeah.
Drifter has its horror elements, but as was pointed out to me recently by someone who's seen the film about 20 more times than I have, they do, in fact, if you're paying attention, make clear that no, he is not a ghost.
Right, right.
Anyway, no, The Burrowers. Yeah, here's a fun little movie that somebody described incorrectly, I think, but as a Western meets Tremors.
No, that is not correct.
Yeah, but that's how people keep saying, well, but that's the best way to get you started talking about it.
Because it's creatures underground, so it's
Exactly.
like Tremors. No, Tremors was a tongue-in-cheek horror movie about big, irradiated 50s era monsters. This is a creepy horror movie about monsters out in the Old West that are stalking people, and it's icky. Oh my god! When you find out what these monsters do, they are just icky. But first and foremost, it's a badass Western starring Clancy fucking Brown. How cool was he?
Yeah, Clancy Brown's awesome in everything.
Great casting, superb dialogue.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, really good dialogue. In fact, there's so many things about this movie that I did like, but as a Western, first and foremost, that I'm almost tempted to totally just say, the horror part, it was all right. It's just so good as a Western. I was like, I love the Western genre, but I wanted to see these characters go on. I was sad when characters died in it, I mean, there's so many great actors in this. And I was a little shocked that some people never got comeuppance that you really expected to.
Yeah, my only problem was with the ending, and not spoiling anything,
Yeah.
but it seemed like they were setting up to do more, and then all of a sudden it was done.
Yeah, no, it felt like they ran out of money almost.
Yeah, almost.
Like
right?
there was supposed to be a big finale.
No,
and
it's
it never happened.
I talked to the director J.T. Petty, and he talked about the fact that there actually is a missing sequence in there. That there's something even worse. He feels that the ending is that the last 20 minutes is a big fuck you to one of the major characters, and that adding in just throwing the salt on the wound was just a little too rough. So they cut out that sequence and go directly to what was the denouement.
And they should have rewritten it then, because I remember him saying that. But yeah, the ending was really my only gripe with the film, and it just felt kind of sloppy.
I almost feel like you could remake this film and take out the monsters and do it with a crazed tribe of Indians, like some rogue group of white man hating Indians, and it would be just as good of a movie for if not a better film.
But that was kind of the point of the movie, was that the whole concept is that's what they think they're chasing.
No, but if that was actually it would have been just as good a film, because the strongest parts of this film are the characters, and the Western parts of it.
Sure. Okay.
That's my opinion.
But The Burrowers, it's really good. This one will be coming out on DVD, sadly.
Yeah.
Because it's part of this whole Lionsgate snafu, along with Repo the Genetic Opera and Midnight Meat Train, which have all been caught up in the vortex of this internal politics thing. But it might if we get lucky, you might see it on a big screen. If not, it's coming out on DVD. Oh my God, it's not a direct.
This would totally be
so
worth
good.
seeing in the theater.
Check out more films by J.T. Petty as well.
What else did he do?
Soft for Digging, Mimic 3, and
Sandman.
Yeah, and Sandman.
It's got a weird
S ampersand.
M-A-N.
M-A-N.
Yeah, it's got a weird spelling. But I haven't seen Soft for Digging or Sandman, but I have seen Mimic 3. And as I was telling everyone, believe it or not, it's actually really good.
Well, that shocks me because Mimic 2 was horrible.
Yeah, it really was. This is like Rear Window meets giant cockroach monster creatures.
What's weird is I've had some people tell me that Mimic 3 is actually better than even the first one, which is
both.
just okay.
I'll say that.
Even though it's
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, you're like, well, that's the one that the
But
bastard stepchild.
Yeah, that's the one where the studio came in and took away Guillermo's ending.
Yeah,
and you're watching that movie going, oh, it felt like it was building to this, and that's what I wanted to see. Well, that's what Guillermo wanted you to see, but the Weinstein said people don't want to see that. So, so that was great. You wanted to mention I Think We're Alone Now, which I love too.
Quite possibly the most disturbing film at the festival, even more disturbing than Martyrs.
And it's a documentary.
And it's a documentary.
Didn't see it, but the very thought of people being obsessed with the singer Tiffany is disturbing alone.
He's not making that up. That's really what it's about.
It's about two different people who are brought together by their disturbing obsessions with Tiffany. Hence the title, I Think We're Alone Now.
And it's funny and sad and pathetic and upsetting.
You realize just how scary it is to be a celebrity and have these people stalking you this way.
If I were Tiffany and I saw this, I would never leave the house.
I
period.
don't want to see it because I don't want to know how Allison Hannigan feels when I get arrested outside.
Actually, what's funny is that the director of this film showed it to her manager, and her manager said, "It's a really great film. We really love what you're doing. You really showed the human side of this." No, I'm not going to show it to Tiffany. No. Apparently, he was like, "No, because this is just going to freak her out, and she won't be able to handle it because these people show up to these events with her all the time."
And what I really appreciated was that the director wasn't trying to exploit these poor misfits. He really wasn't. He was just showing it as it was.
He was trying to actually get you to understand them.
Yeah, and I didn't. I mean, these people are genuinely batshit crazy.
Wow.
They really are. Like, one of them
the
is
crystals on the bike helmet
Yes.
to help foster mental communication
with Tiffany. Yeah, and
so awesome.
And
That's
so, yeah.
why I didn't buy those crystals. What the hell? I, was
I don't want to talk to
Do you
Tiffany.
have the Joss Whedon crystals? Because I don't really see what Tiffany's going to say to me.
Oh, you
telepathically at this
queen.
point.
Yeah, it's
I'm a canon queen. It's true.
Actually, you know what? The most disturbing image from that film, though, is when you walk into the guy girl's apartment and there's all these pictures of Tiffany from magazines all around the walls, except they're not like what you'd think, like wallpapered. It's literally all around the wall in a line at eye level. So wherever you are at eye level, you see
literally
pictures of
That's
Tiffany.
horrifying.
hundreds.
Yes.
Hundreds of pictures
I went to
of
a
Tiffany.
house like that once with George W. Bush pictures, which is even worse. But you know,
Well, no, because at least
I don't like his tits. I at least like Tiffany's.
Yeah, but I can listen to his album. So
Oh yeah, there is that. That's true.
Children behave.
we only know one of her songs. I mean, I actually know more than that, but I refuse to admit that in public.
And he just did.
Damn.
Well,
So
I
yeah.
wanted to go back to Denmark again and talk about a film called Fighter, which took me by surprise.
That was a Danish film?
It was a Danish film.
And
No kidding.
Even though it's about Turkish
fighter,
people.
fighter is its Danish name. Its actual name is Bend It Like Bruce Lee.
Which would be accurate, but
Not
I
just
like-
accurate, like dead on. He said that at the beginning of the film, and I'm like, oh yeah, just because it's got a girl from a Middle East. Oh, I see. But no, you watch. It is beat for beat. Bend It Like Beckham, except instead of being obsessed with soccer, she's obsessed with martial arts.
Which, I mean, maybe it just reflects on my own interests, but I thought Bend It Like Beckham was, it was all right. It was cute. And I thought this blew me out of my seat. I thought this was amazing and inspiring, even disturbing at points. And there was at moments that the hair raised up on the back of my neck. Just realizations you made about what they were showing you, the things they were telling you with their imagery. I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it beat the crap out of Chocolate.
Bend It Like Beckham had Keira Knightley, which, of course, had something else standing up on end.
That guy with the tiny boobs?
Yeah, that guy. From Atonement, yeah.
Oh, the one from the Holocaust movie?
Yeah.
No, the one from the Holocaust.
I didn't think it was as cute and adorable as that, even though it had the same story. But Fighter was really good. And what I actually like about Fighter, what differentiates it from Bend It Like Beckham, is Bend It Like Beckham's ultimate message. Bend It Like Beckham is a lot like You Got Mail, which is a movie that is just so poppy and sugary and light and fluffy that you kind of ignore the fact that it's got one of the most horrible messages you've ever seen. Yeah. Here's this message of, oh yes, I know you come from these wonderful, long-held traditions, and your family is very steeped in them, and this is the way you live, but you're living here now, so it's time to assimilate and throw off all that and join the consumer culture. Here in this one, in Fighter kind of eschews that and kind of skirts the line and forces you to kind of say, you know what, maybe they're onto something with their traditions. Well, maybe their traditions should be respected in what they're talking about here.
I see what you're saying, I do, and that's one of the more interesting things about this film, because it doesn't decide for you how to feel about this.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, this Muslim culture does not like its woman capable of kicking their men's asses. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that this girl's obsessed with martial arts and going out without her parents' permission to perform martial arts.
Well, now
even
the problem,
though she is like autonomically gifted at it.
Well, the problem isn't, in fact, what's interesting about the film isn't the problem is that they think she shouldn't be kicking men's asses. The problem is she shouldn't be in a class with other men.
Well,
she's not supposed to be around other unmarried men when she's unmarried, and that is a big issue. And when she gets kicked out of the girls' class, that's when it's a problem. And it was a very interesting film that dealt with martial arts very respectfully.
It confronts those feelings in her, because how can you not? But it ends up with an ending that you can actually interpret to a certain level yourself how you feel about it.
Do they end up stoning her to death at the end?
No, but I certainly wanted to get stoned.
In fact, you know what? My one disappointment was that I think they kind of took the cheap ending out, and I found the romance blooming with another character to be a much more interesting story.
See, I don't agree with that. I thought the only thing that was cheap at the end was that one of the characters who was the villain of the piece, if you will, only sort of kind of comes to a sort of, well, it's like a Rocky moment, so even I've got to go. Good job. Even though I totally didn't buy that that would actually happen.
And I declare you, Zorro, the new king of Spain.
Exactly. But overall, I really did like this. I mean, there were some people who walked out angry because of the Muslim element of the whole. They should have flat out said these people are absolutely 100% wrong for ever telling a woman.
Did those people have vajayjays?
No, lots of people did. I felt that way.
Lots of people have vajayjays?
No, I actually felt that way myself. Because honestly, I think that's bullshit. Fuck respecting cultures. This is a gender thing. No,
God damn it! God bless America!
There's a soundbite. Fuck respecting cultures.
If there had been another culture that had been going on for years that were saying it's okay to rape children, and we were like, oh, they've been here 1,000 years longer than us, we have to respect their
right. He went
right
to raping children.
Okay. Wait. They are allowed to beat their woman. They're allowed to do that. That's part of their culture. They are flat out allowed to do that.
Tell me more. Tell me more about this Muslim thing.
I'm just saying, it's like,
I'm intrigued
wow,
now.
So you don't have an issue with that? You're going to go pull the respect culture card on me? Fuck that shit. No, I'm
going to go respect. I'm going to play the respect my kung fu card.
It's like, why don't you tell the woman about like going to do martial arts and go out and kick their guys' asses and come over to America where we've got bigger cocks anyway.
Yes, and you're one of them. Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wait, when did I end up in the Fox Studios?
No,
is that I'm hearing something over my microphone. I think it's the national anthem.
No, I'm sorry. Religion is not an excuse for abuse. Sorry.
No, but this film has nothing to do with
You don't need an
abuse.
excuse for abuse.
It does. It doesn't. It has to do
rights.
Well, but see, what you're talking about what a family is asking.
Sometimes you can slap a woman with an open hand.
Yeah, well, Sean Connery is given a little bit of
a little bit of leeway. Yeah. No, but
there was a whole country.
This
with
film
Sean
wasn't
Connery's
about the
voice,
oppression of
different.
women. It was about this girl who's stuck between East and West, and the thing is I liked how they followed it, but they did show some of the positive aspects of that culture as well. They didn't just down on the culture. Personally, yeah, I'm completely with you. I think that girl had every right to follow her heart and do what she wants, but that's a very Western attitude. I like that they showed respect to that culture and showed the positive benefits of that culture as well as the negative benefits of our culture.
I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Y'all were just having fun making fun of me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think any culture that makes a woman a second-class citizen isn't one that's worth respecting on that level. That's all I'm saying. Sorry. Other than Jason's house.
Agree to disagree.
So now let's talk about Megan Fox and talk about how we all respect her.
But she wasn't in any movies in Fantastic.
Yeah, she clearly was, because I kept thinking